So this is AI in 15. Every morning we're going to get together and in 15 minutes do, one marketing task with AI. Um, you might be wondering, some of
Good
you,
morning.
who the hell I am. I'm Matthew Kershaw.
Thought so.
Good to see everyone too. I've got 20-year history in content media and marketing, 6 years in AI, mostly working at AI startup DID. And what I do is I help businesses build modern marketing engines, help teams practically and safely use AI, structure workflows, and build roadmaps to quality, speed, and of course, reduce cost. That's enough about me. You're not interested in me. You're interested in today's topic, which is to turn an event into multiple content pieces. And when I say event, I mean that in a kind of broadest sense of the term. So when I say an event, it could be anything, a podcast, an interview, a panel, a keynote. And I'm going to show people how we're going to turn that event into a transcript. I'm going to show you ways of doing that. Turn that into a white paper, kind of long form piece of content. And then I'm going to show you how to turn it into, three or four, actually, maybe some more types of content. So that's the process today. So, getting into it, I'm going to use as my example the Oyster Catchers event, which I went to last week. Thank you very much, Becky McKinley, for the invitation. It was a wonderful event, very, very, very interesting discussion about trust. And one of the beautiful things about it was the sound system was very, very good, and everyone was mic'd up very, very well. And what that allowed me to do was stick my phone onto the seat next to me, onto the arm of my seat, and record the audio. Now, the first thing I say, I know this is not an AI thing, but what I would say is, if you've got an iPhone, and I'm guessing there are some very good equivalent things for Android, use this Voice Memos app. It is incredibly good at capturing speech. So, and I use it all the time. And one of the things about this that people maybe don't realize is, so okay, you can catch the audio. That's good. It catches the sound wave. What you can see, and I hope you can see it down here, is this little kind of quote marks inside a speech bubble. That will also give you a transcript. So Apple allows you to generate transcripts automatically. That's actually also with AI, although they're not, it's not particularly flagged. But what that allows you to do is get your transcript. Now, there are other transcript devices, all the note takers that people have. I use Fireflies, will give you a transcript. And we're also, I mean, Firefly is really good. It gives you the different voices as well. So it says, it separates out the different speakers, which is really handy. So you've got your transcript. What are you going to do with it? Well, this is a prompting format created by my colleague Richard Hale. He calls it cake. Obviously, it's clarity, so define your goal. Audience, identify who the output is for, share the context. Knowledge is any details you've got, documents you might want to upload, any background data. And the most important, so using this format is really, really useful when you've got something quite structured to do and you want something quite heavy. But I'll use all of these sort of sometimes I use all of them. But the one I absolutely always use is Evolve. And Evolve is all about refining the output. So you've got an output. How do you take it for a next round and make it better? And of course, cake. What does cake without E spell? Only one person. Sharon? Right?
Definite cack.
Yeah. So if you don't evolve your stuff as you're going, if you're not taking the output from your AI and putting it through your brain and reprompting and getting to where you want to get to, you won't have a very good cake. But if you do that and use your input, we often talk about an 80/20 rule. You will get to a multi-layered, brilliant, lovely looking cake. So that's the process that I've used. And in terms of this particular example, so I had this transcript. I said, what are the main themes emerging from this panel discussion about trust? Initially, I just wanted to draw out the themes themselves. It came out with 12. I'm like, well, that's too many. That's too many. Can you get this down to 10? So it's like, yes, I can get it down to 10. I then said, well, write me a white paper called, Oyster Catchers, the Trust Advantage, 10 lessons from our panel session. And of course, it output it, and it wasn't quite the way I wanted it, or quite the length I wanted it. So again, multiple kind of spins through my brain. I eventually end up with this nice long white paper. So great. So if you're Becky and you've hosted an event, you've now got a white paper that goes with that event, captures all the themes, and has quotes and all sorts of stuff, and it's very nice. What do I do with that? Well, of course, I want to put this in social channels. I want to use it as lead capture. There's all sorts of things you're going to want to do with it. So I did two things with it. I said, turn this paper into a LinkedIn article in my style. In another session coming up, I'll show you how you get the AI to write in your style. Again, put that through my brain. It wrote a post, which is I've literally just put up 20 minutes ago. LinkedIn really likes carousels. How do I make a carousel? Got linked. I asked it, turn this white paper into a LinkedIn carousel. A few spins through the brain, a few tweaks here and there, and then I laid it out into my design, and that is the carousel that's now at the bottom of my post. So I've gone from article, white paper, post, carousel. So I've got 4 bits of content from this one event. The next bit I'm going to show you is Notebook LM. So how well do people know Notebook LM, which is a Google product? If you just put your hand up if you sort of have used it or know about it. Okay, so a few of you have, which is great. What Notebook LM does, it allows you to upload a load of documents. I've only uploaded one in this case because that's all I needed. But you can upload 10, 20, 100. And what it allows you to do is interrogate those documents. So it becomes like a set of notes which you can then draw themes and stuff out of. So it's very, very useful from that point of view. What they also does on the side here has a thing called Studio, which allows you to create multiple things. An audio overview, which is actually just a podcast, video overview, mind maps, reports, flashcards. Infographic and slide deck is grayed out at the moment. I think they're still working on those. But you can take this one bit of content, my nice, long, well-written white paper, and turn it into all sorts of bits of content. I'll show you kind of how that works in a minute. Also going within the one thing which just says reports, if you look in reports, that also gives you then a whole load of other stuff. Blog posts, content explainers, study guides, briefing docs, all sorts of stuff. Like it's a very, very powerful tool, which I think is underused. So I'm going to just quickly play you, and please tell me if you don't hear this podcast.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are wrestling with a concept that it sounds so foundational, so basic, but it's actually become the defining competitive advantage of our time. We're talking about trust. This deep dive is built on some fascinating insights from a panel discussion, drawing from, some really high-stakes fields: media, global strategy, life sciences.
Right, these aren't theoretical spaces.
Not at all. And we're looking at why trust is, fast becoming the new currency for growth.
It's the ultimate differentiator. That's really the core premise of this whole analysis.
Yeah.
Trust it's so much more than a soft metric or, a line in an.
So I'm going to pause that for a second. So you see right away, you've got really, it's a 12 and a half minutes long. That will be really, really interesting to listen to, I promise you, just because the content itself was really interesting in the first place. And you might be going, Matthew, why is it an American accent? I'm pretty sure, in fact, I know for a fact that Google are working on other accents for that that piece. But just in case you want it, here are 3 other good places you can generate podcasts from a white paper, like Podcasts or Wondercraft and the script. So check those out. Next thing I want to show you is the video explainer, because I just think this is sort of mind-blowing. Now, again, not perfect. It's not going to be in your style, your brand style, but it just shows you kind of how far you can take it.
All right. Today we're going to...
So I'm going to fast forward because I know I've sort of seen this and there's a good bit around a minute mark.
This is really the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. In the crazy crowded market we're all in today, trust is what really drives our choices. It's this invisible force that pushes a customer to pick you over someone else, and more importantly, to keep coming back. But it's not just about customers. That very same trust impacts how fast things get done internally, cutting down on friction so teams can make decisions quicker. And this quote from our source material just nails it, really. If I trust you, I choose you. If I don't, I'll try not to.
So it's pulled out from all this an hour's worth of content, a really, really good quote. And this was actually the quote I'd pulled out on the day. I'd sort of made a little note of it because it's such a strong quote, and put it into this 7-minute video. So that's kind of it. We've gone from an event, we've created a transcript, we've created a white paper, and then we've created all this other stuff, and I haven't gone into showing you absolutely everything, but you do need to bring yourself to it, and you do need to bring your brand and your look and your feel. So it's not quite as straightforward as just, publishing what comes out of Notebook LM, but you can see how over time this is going to get a lot easier, and there are going to be more and more tools that allow you to do it how you want to do it. Just before we get to questions and answers, I just want to flag tomorrow. We're doing a brand tone audit. How well does your brand live up to your guidelines? Let AI tell you. And I also want to talk about a special guest on Thursday. There's a guy called Matt Waller, who's a fantastic creative director. He's now moved into the space of video creation, AI video creation. And he's going to be making a video on Thursday. And he just texted me what it is. He says, we will be attempting to produce a product film in the style of a James Bond intro live in under 15 minutes. So it's going to be very exciting on Thursday as well. So with that said, we've got a minute left. Anyone got any questions or comments? Can you edit the files in Notebook LM, i.e. the files that you put in initially, Penny? Yeah. So I think you would have to delete them and add the new one that's been edited, but you absolutely can. For the white paper, I use ChatGPT. But actually, pretty much any LLM would be able to generate a white paper as good as the one I got from ChatGPT. Claude is excellent. Gemini, very, very good now. They're all kind of leapfrogging each other. So, which one's the best one at any time, sort of, you're never going to know which one's the best one because there'll be a new one along in any minute. So just stick with the one probably for now. Any other questions? Yeah, Gemini is good for infographics, absolutely, because of its relationship with Nano Banana. But that, my friends, is that. Thank you very much for coming. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Bye.
evening.
Bye.
Thanks.
Well done, Matsky. That
Thanks
was
very
great.
much. Yeah, nice one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, Matt. Bye.
Bye.